If you're over 40 and you're craving a total life reset, these 10 cities might be exactly what you need, and we're in number 3 right now. They're places where you can reinvent yourself, slow down or speed up, and maybe even remember what it feels like to have time for wine at lunch. But beware, one city on this list will envelop you in cobblestone streets and storybook towers until you're not sure if you moved or stepped into a fairy tale.
We're Amelia and JP, and we moved abroad and we never looked back. Now we're helping you do the same. If you need inspiration to live your dream life overseas, then hit that subscribe button because it might be easier than you think, and we can help you do it.
And now for the 10 cities that are perfect for a fresh start after 40, starting with number 10, Porto, Portugal. You know that friend who seems perfect on paper, gorgeous, charming, great cook, but then you find out they have a room dedicated to their creepy vintage doll collection. That's Porto. At first glance, it's stunning. It's got terracotta rooftops, pastel buildings stacked like Jenga blocks, and a river that literally sparkles in the morning light. You're immediately infatuated and start Googling Porto long-term rentals before you've even unpacked your carry-on.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is exactly what we did once we saw our view out the window. However, now I have vintage creepy dolls stuck in my head, so thanks for that, JP.
You're welcome. If you're over 40, Porto will spoil you rotten. You start drinking wine at lunch because everybody else is doing it. You take the tram like you're in some old European film, and you tell yourself you're living more slowly when really you're just rushing to the bakery to get your favorite goodies before they're sold out for the day.
Those sound really yummy right now, but remember we saw people sitting on the stairs at the Mercado drinking wine at like 10 o'clock. So if you really want to fit in, you can go to the bakery and then hit the Mercado and get a cup of wine.
Yeah, they don't have the 5 o'clock rule there.
No, they
unless
don't.
Maybe it's 5 a.m. But here's the thing about Porto. Those charming cobblestone streets might seem gorgeous until you try climbing them in the rain while you're carrying a load of groceries and you're questioning your life choices. And I swear Porto is the only city where 2 blocks away is somehow uphill both directions.
Yeah, I do have to admit, those hills kicked my butt a couple times. And I like the cardio part.
I know, she kept telling me, oh, it's good for you. Yeah, right. All right, even after all that cardio, though, you're still going to love it because in Porto, your neighbors will actually know your name. The market vendor will save you the best tomatoes, and that cafe owner is going to give you your coffee the usual way after just a week. It's not just a city, it's a small town disguised as one. If you like Porto's warmth, but you want to ditch those hills, our next pick has all the charm and none of those tough leg workouts.
Number 9 is Merida, Mexico. Merida is like that friend who always remembers your birthday, cooks you dinner, and insists you stay for dessert, but they keep their house at 85 degrees. The city greets you with warm smiles, colonial charm, and plazas where families gather every night like it's a block party. You're gonna walk around thinking, wow, I could really live here. But then the sun hits you and you realize you're basically living on a sizzling plate of fajitas.
But you love fajitas.
I do love fajitas. And the food there is incredible. Spicy habaneros bring the fire, fresh tortillas still warm from the griddle, and market vendors who won't let you leave without trying just one more thing. The people are amazing. You're going to get invited to your neighbor's cousin's birthday party before you've even signed your rental agreement.
I think that's pretty common throughout Latin America. We've had that happen before.
I know we have. It's one of the things I love about the culture. However, Merida's heat is a commitment. You'll become unnaturally attached to your air conditioner, even if you're like me and not a huge fan of air conditioning. Your errands will get planned like military operations. Okay, we got to hit the bank, the market, and the pharmacy and be back before 10 a.m. or we are going to completely sizzle. You're going to want to embrace those siestas because they're not just cultural, they're for your survival. You're still going to love it though, because at night the city totally transforms. Music floats through the streets, the heat softens, and the whole town feels like you're in one big giant living room. Merida isn't just a place to live, it's a place to belong. If you like it hot in the summer but cooler in the winter, then wait until you see our next pick. It's got that same friendly vibe as Merida, plus sea breezes to keep you cool.
Number 8 is Crete, Greece. Crete isn't just an island, it's a whole mood. The kind of place where you wake up, stare at the sea, and wonder why you ever tolerated rush hour traffic back home. It's Greece's largest island, but it feels like a world apart. It's got mountains, beaches, and villages that look like they were painted on a postcard. The Mediterranean diet was basically invented here. You eat tomatoes so ripe they taste like sunshine and olives so fresh and affordable that moderation will have no meaning. Even the Rocky, their local firewater, comes with a smile and usually a plate of something fried.
That Rocky is way, 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 way too strong for me. However, the olives are incredible. And yeah, you're right about not using any moderation. Consider your guys warned. It's way too easy to overeat those.
But Crete also has a mischievous side. Just when you think you've settled into island life, you'll stumble onto ruins that are older than your great-great-great-great-great-great-grandparents, where mythology and history blur together. And then in true Greek fashion, someone will insist on explaining it all over another round of food. Yet for all its history, Crete doesn't feel stuck in the past. The pace of life is laid back but vibrant. Neighbors bring you fresh produce from their gardens. Cafe owners wave you inside like family. And there's always a festival just around the corner. It's the kind of place where starting fresh doesn't feel scary. It feels natural.
I'd agree with that. Starting fresh there does not feel scary, but we did experience a little bit of culture shock in Greece. The people are nice, but they definitely have a different form of communication that could come across as rather abrasive and abrupt.
Yeah, I think public venting is a sport there, and I just couldn't get used to it, and I'm not that good at it. So I was rolled over too much there.
If Crete isn't your cup of olives, our number 7 pick is completely opposite, and it is one of our favorite places.
We've been to 25 countries in the past 2 years, and the first thing we do when we arrive in a new city is turn on our VPN to make sure we are protected. And that's why we're happy to talk about Surfshark, today's sponsor. Public Wi-Fi in airports, train stations, hotels, Airbnbs, restaurants, cafes might be free, but they are far from safe. That's why we always use a VPN to protect our privacy. Surfshark secures our data and our identity by protecting us from hackers, phishing scams, and ransomware attacks. Surfshark never logs or collects our data, so we feel safe knowing that no one is tracking us. We also use Surfshark for streaming. We realize different programming is available in different countries. We use a VPN to change our virtual location so we can watch our favorite shows everywhere we go. Right now, Surfshark has a great offer. You'll get 4 months extra. With Surfshark, you get 24/7 support. You can use it on all your devices, and there's no risk to try because they offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. Go to surfshark.com/AAJP or use code AAJP at checkout to get 4 months extra of Surfshark VPN.
And now back to our list of cities that are perfect for a fresh start after 40. Coming in at number 7 is Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Kuala Lumpur blends futuristic skyscrapers with street food stalls that have been around for generations. One moment you'll be sipping coffee in a sleek rooftop bar, then the next you're perched on a plastic chair eating noodles cooked in a wok older than you are. The food here is a mix of Malay, Chinese, and Indian, and the variety is unreal. You can eat something different every day for a year and still barely scratch the surface, and some of the most delicious meals will cost you less than your morning latte back home. It's also a city of contrasts. You can take an air-conditioned train to a mall that feels like it could fit an entire small town, and then 10 minutes later, you're walking through a traditional market where bargaining is half the fun. However, you might want to pack some of those extra stretchy pants with you and bring an extra duffel bag as well, because KL is basically one big excuse to eat, shop, and repeat.
Yeah, we repeated way too much while we were there. We ate too much and shopped too much, but partly because those malls are a great place to pop in and cool off because it just gets so hot and humid, and the outdoor food stalls don't actually open until after dark.
Well, yeah, because who wants to go sit in that heat and humidity and eat a hot, spicy meal? Not me. For all of its energy, though, KL is surprisingly livable. It's got great public transportation, green parks, and the endless food scene means that you can have the big city life without the big city burnout.
I can't believe how comfortable we felt there, Amelia. And after all of the traveling we've done since then, I still miss it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I have definitely been wanting to go back to KL.
If you love the energy of KL but want to slow it down a notch, our next pick might be your perfect match. Number 6 is Tirana, Albania. Tirana is one of Europe's most surprising capital cities, mostly because so few people outside the region have it on their radar. It's bright, it's walkable, and it has this playful side, from the modern buildings to the quirky street art hiding in plain sight. Albania takes its coffee seriously, and Tirana is basically one giant outdoor cafe. People watchers, this is your city. If you're used to steep prices, being here feels like the financial equivalent of finding a 20 in your coat pocket every single week.
Isn't that the best when you find money that you didn't even know you had? I love that.
Found money is awesome. It has history layered in everywhere: Ottoman architecture, communist era monuments, modern modern glass towers, and they're all jumbled together. And the mountains are right there. You can hop on a cable car and be in fresh mountain air before lunch.
That was fun when we did that, but remember how chilly it was? It felt good to cool down, but geez, I needed some extra layers.
It was chilly. The city has an easygoing rhythm. There's plenty of energy, but it's not overwhelming. You can slip into local life pretty quickly and still feel like there's more to discover every weekend.
I totally agree with that. Although, if you really want to slip into local life, that means you have to go drink coffee at 10 p.m., which we did not do. But
and take up smoking.
yeah, that's the truth. There is a lot of smoking there as well. But you can avoid the smoking and the 10 p.m. coffees if you want to. We loved it there. I actually miss it there as well. Toronto's mix of charm and affordability, our next city offers a similar cost of living, but with some serious European grandeur. Number 5 is Granada, Spain. Granada is one of those cities where you half expect to bump into a poet around every corner because it is so dramatic. There are snow-capped mountains behind you, Moorish palaces ahead, and winding streets that feel like they have been there forever because they probably have, actually.
I think they have.
It's not just about the history, even though the history is everywhere. Granada has this youthful energy thanks to its big student population. That means it's lively. Cafes, music, and a tapas culture that will amaze you. You can order a drink and have the snacks just appear. There's no bill. It's just like magic.
I know, I love those fructose secos, which are basically just like a bowl of nuts. Sometimes they have corn nuts in them or like a Chex Mix. They are delicious.
They are delicious. Those cobblestone streets, however, they are not messing around. You're going to get your steps in whether you plan to or not. And if you're not careful, you're going to end up accidentally stopping at a tapas bar halfway up just to catch your breath. And then maybe you can have another snack.
Yes, more fructose secos.
Yes. The evenings here feel like stepping into a movie. It is incredible. It is so stunning with Alhambra all lit up. You can enjoy a glass of local wine and listen to some Spanish guitar. How romantic does that sound?
Que romantico.
Granada has this way of making you slow down without you really even noticing.
I don't know about that. Those steep hills in the Albacete area had me slowing down and I noticed.
Yeah, there were a couple ones that were pretty rough. But the nice thing is that once you get out of that historic area, there's a nice area that's really flat.
If you love Granada's mix of old world charm and lively streets, wait until you see our next pick. It has the same romantic feel, but with tropical air and a riverfront that glows after dark. Number 4 is Hoi An, Vietnam. Hoi An feels like it was designed specifically to make you fall in love with it. Got lantern lit streets, riverside cafes, and architecture that's part Vietnamese, part Japanese, and part French. But the real magic is in the old town itself. There's no cars, just bicycles, occasional motorbike, and the sound of street vendors calling out in the morning. And the food is so fantastic, you're going to develop a serious relationship with banh mi sandwiches. You might even start planning your day around when you can eat them again. Plus, every night the river turns into this floating galaxy of paper lanterns. I promise you're going to take way too many photos.
Yeah, like you did, JP. My gosh. They could not get you to stop taking pictures, which is understandable because it was really gorgeous.
It is super photogenic. Hoi An moves at a different pace though. The mornings at the market, afternoons by the river, evenings that feel like a festival without ever getting overwhelming. It's one of those rare places that's equally easy to visit for a week or to make it your new home.
Well, I have to be honest, Hoi An did not sing to me like some of the other places on this list. I liked it, but I did not love it, although the food was incredible and the people are amazing.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same way, but you know, a lot of people live in Vietnam and Hoi An and they really like it.
If you love Hoi An's beauty, but you want a bigger city vibe, our number 3 pick might be what you didn't even know you were looking for, and it is where we are right now.
But before we reveal where we are, if you're seriously thinking about making the move, we put together a free Move Abroad toolkit with a checklist, visa info, and other resources and tips to make your move abroad way less overwhelming. You can grab it now by scanning this QR code or by going to ameliaandjp.com/toolkit.
And now for the big reveal, we are in number 3, Panama City, Panama. Panama City is a little bit Miami, a little bit old Havana, and a whole lot of its own thing. Shining skyscrapers reflecting the sun, just a few minutes away cobblestone streets in Casco Viejo that look like they barely changed in 100 years. It's a city of contrasts. One moment you're sipping espresso in a sleek cafe with Wi-Fi faster than most US cities. The next you're wandering into a centuries-old church. And thanks to the Panama Canal, the whole world passes through here, which means the food scene is ridiculously diverse.
It is diverse, the more we walk around, the more variety I'm seeing and wanting to try.
But the heat and humidity is no joke, Amelia. Locals have mastered the art of timing their errands to avoid melting. But then when evening arrives, you can escape to a rooftop bar and let the ocean breezes cool you off while you watch the sunset over the Pacific.
I think the locals are really good at avoiding the torrential downpours, unlike us. On our very first time here to Panama City, the first time we came, we got caught without our umbrellas and rain gear, and boy, we're never making that mistake again.
Despite the bustle, Panama City has a surprisingly easy pace once you get into the rhythm of it, especially if you slip into Casco Viejo for one of those sunset strolls.
If you like Panama City's mix of cosmopolitan living and historic streets, our next pick has a similar vibe but with mountain views instead of skyscrapers. Coming in at number 2 is Cuenca, Ecuador. Cuenca is the perfect expat landing zone. It's set high in the Andes and it has 4 rivers running through it, colonial architecture that is postcard perfect, and a pace of life that adapts to your preferences. The historic center is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, but it's not a museum piece and it's not Disney-fied like other places we've been to around the world. It is very much lived in there. Markets overflow with fresh produce, the plazas are full of people chatting, and there's this blend of tradition and modern convenience that really makes daily life easy. The weather is as good as they say. It's called Eternal Spring for a reason. You'll probably find yourself wearing a light sweater in the morning, sunglasses at lunch, and then maybe back to a sweater or a jacket for dinner. It's basically nature's way of saying you're welcome.
Yeah, it really is. It's not too hot and it's not too cold. It's really just right.
Kind of
It's
like Goldilocks. The weekends are peaceful. There's no big frantic rush, just the sound of church bells, the Tommy Bamba, and the occasional street musician. You can slow down but still feel connected to a vibrant community.
We lived in Cuenca for over 2 years. It's still one of our favorite places. And I always say it feels like a cruise ship because it's got great food and there's always some form of activity to keep you busy.
But that is the truth. You can even do Zumba at 7 a.m. in Parque de la Madre.
If Cuenca's charm makes you want to start packing, wait until you see our final city. It has a similar welcoming vibe, but with a completely different flavor. Number 1 is Riga, Latvia. Riga is one of Europe's most underrated capital cities. It has the fairy tale charm of cobblestone streets and medieval towers, but without the wall-to-wall tourist crowds you find elsewhere in Europe. It's also the Art Nouveau capital of the world. Whole neighborhoods look like they were designed by someone who thought, what if architecture was just a little bit more like a fairy tale? And then they made it happen.
They sure did. My gosh, those buildings are stunning. It is so gorgeous. I loved walking around and exploring all the architecture, but also walking around and seeing all those beautiful parks.
The parks were amazing. They were so green and lush too. Of course, we were there in the summer, Amelia.
That is true.
The winters are very cold, but that's just an excuse to linger longer in the city's cafes. The coffee culture is surprisingly strong, given how far they are from where coffee grows. Plus, the central market is housed in a massive old Zeppelin hangar, which feels like shopping inside a piece of history. Evenings in Riga are cozy. You'll hear live music and tucked away bars, warm light spilling out of restaurants, and that sense that you're someplace special, but still approachable. We felt at home almost instantly, and we did not want to leave.
You know, I gotta say, when I first started learning and reading about Latvia, I was like, oh, I don't know. It'd be neat to go there, but it's really far north. Well, let me tell you, I loved it. I definitely could have stayed longer. I was feeling sad to leave. And I can't believe I'm actually going to say this, but I'm putting it out there on record. I think the winters could be worth enduring because the summers are glorious.
Or maybe we just go for the summer.
Okay, maybe.
All right, and that is why Riga lands our number 1 spot. It's beautiful, welcoming, and still just far enough off the radar to feel like you've discovered a secret. So there you have it, guys. 10 cities and 10 completely different ways to hit reset after 40. From the cobblestones of Granada to the lantern-lit nights of Hoi An, these places prove that a fresh start doesn't have to mean starting from scratch. It just means starting somewhere that feels right to you.
And the best part is that none of these cities are just about moving somewhere more affordable. They're about moving somewhere with a higher quality of life.
Of course, there's no one perfect city for everyone. The real trick is finding the place where you can see yourself not just moving to, but actually living well. So let us know in the comments which one of these is your favorite.
And if you're planning a move abroad, remember to download our free Move Abroad toolkit right now before you forget.
All right, guys, that's all we have for today. Before you go, leave us a like, and we will see you all next time.
Ciao.